Hi, welcome back to another episode of Algebra in Words, the video series on YouTube. In this video, we're going to begin discussing the multiplication of polynomials. Specifically, we're going to focus on multiplying two binomials together, specifically using what's known as the FOIL method. So let's take a look at the FOIL method, and I want to give you a brief overview. The FOIL method, the word FOIL, is an acronym that stands for product of the first terms, product of the outside terms, product of the inside terms, and then L stands for the product of the last terms. So specifically, in a binomial, the first term would be the term on the left. So the first term of this binomial would be x, and the first term of this binomial would be this x. Then outside refers to the terms on the outer ends of both binomials. The inner refers to the inside factors, terms, and the last stands for the last terms of both. So all we're going to do in this video is show how to multiply using the FOIL method, and then we're going to look at a couple other things before we end. So anyway, let's apply the FOIL method to the multiplication of these two binomials. X plus 3 times x plus 2. So again, first would be this x and this x. X times x is x squared. Okay, and then the outer terms would be these. X times 2, which we call 2x. Then the inner terms, 3 times x would be 3x. And the product of the last terms, 3 times 2 would be 6. Now, usually for the FOIL method, not always, but most of the time, a lot of the times, this method is set up because if you notice, what do you notice about the middle terms? They're like terms. So basically, the last step usually of the FOIL method is to combine like terms, which are usually the middle terms if possible. So 2x plus 3x is 5x. And the final answer to this would be, if we rewrote it, x squared plus 5x plus 6. And also just take notice that our final answer, and even when we had these intermediate terms, are in descending order. Highest power to lowest power as you go to the right. Alright? Pretty easy, probably one of the easier things that you'll do in algebra, and this method is made to make it easier for you. So let's look at another example. 3a minus 5b times the quantity 2a minus 7b. Now before we actually do the math, let's just compare this problem to the last problem. And what do we notice about it? Well, it's essentially the same. Really the only difference is, in the first terms, the term has a coefficient, whereas in the previous example, these x's did not have a coefficient. Not a big deal. Also, in the last terms, these terms have variables, whereas in the previous example, these were just numbers. They did not have variables. But again, it doesn't matter. We're just going to multiply like normal and apply the same rules. So let's do product of the first terms. 3a times 2a. 3 times 2 is 6. And a times a is a squared. Then the product of the outside, 3a times negative 7b, and remember to keep the sign with the term. So we're going to have negative 21ab. And then the product of the inner terms, negative 5b times 2a is negative 10ab. And finally the product of the last terms, negative 5b times negative 7b is going to be now positive 35b squared. And we're almost done. We should read back through and see if there are any like terms. And if we look at the middle terms, similar to the last problem, there are. So the middle terms are 21ab and negative 10ab. This is negative 21ab and negative 10ab. So when we combine them, we're going to get negative 31ab. And I'm just going to rewrite the other terms below so it's all together. 6a squared minus 31ab plus 35 b squared. And that's the FOIL method. Now if you notice, I have two other problems on the board, and I want to explain them. We're actually not going to solve them in this video, it's just setting you up for actually the next video. So the next one, just kind of look at it for a second and see if you notice anything about it. Well, if you notice, we have x plus 5 times the quantity x minus 5. And what I hope you notice about it is, and what ultimately you should notice, is that the first terms are the same, the last terms are the same, but the signs are opposite. This is one type of special case of products, which we refer to as conjugate binomials. And why do we call them conjugates? Well, conjugates usually refer to a pair that are kind of opposite of each other, similar but opposite in some way. So again, as I just explained, these are the same terms except the signs are opposite. These are known as conjugate binomials. We'll look at that in the next video. And then let's come down to the bottom one. 2x minus 3 times the quantity 2x minus 3. And again, do you notice anything special about that? If you notice, they're the same. 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3 are the same binomial. Also known as a binomial squared. A binomial squared. So we can rewrite this in this form as a binomial squared, where now the group 2x minus 3 is the bottom base raised to the second power. And again, that's also known as a special case called a binomial squared. We're going to look at the special cases of conjugate binomials and binomial squared and one other type in the next video called special products of binomials. So anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I hope you found this little lesson informative. Please give a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Please share with your friends. Please subscribe to the channel, and also please click the little bell so that you can be alerted when new videos come out. Also, be sure to check out other videos on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll see you next video.